Hi, hello everyone. First of all, thanks for being here in my YouTube channel. Let's talk about DC motor. Before getting into the topic, I'll be discussing previous class concept in brief. We derived EMF equation of DC generator. I'll tell you how to remember that EMF equation. According to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, induced EMF directly proportional to rate of change of flux linkage, right? E is equal to what? d phi by dt, where d phi is equal to change in flux, dt is time taken for changing the flux, right? Just to assume construction of DC generator, change in flux related to number of poles present in the generator and flux produced by the each field winding and rotation in RPM and number of conductors per parallel path. If suppose one of the parameter is missing here, there is no induced EMF, there is no flux linkage, right? If suppose rotation is not there, there is no flux linkage, there is no flux cut. If suppose conductor is absent, there is no flux linkage because conductor cuts the magnetic field, then only induces EMF, right? And if suppose field winding is not there, field is not there, definitely there is no induced EMF. And time taken is 60, right? So this is how we are deriving the EMF equation and then remembering EMF equation, right? We'll move on to the topic DC motor which converts electrical to mechanical energy, right? So as you can see the diagram, motor model. If we give power supply over here to the terminal box from the battery, so what happens? This shaft will rotate, right? So you can connect here fan or trolleys, cranes, hoist, lift, elevators, pumps, etc. Right? These are the parts of DC motor. I think you all familiar with this diagram, right? From childhood days, remote car to at present trimmer and computer CPU cooling fans. Just you give power supply over here, just you connect one battery, what happens? This shaft will rotate. I have done this experiment when I was in second standard. These are the parts of this permanent magnet DC motor. Here there is a yoke present and a permanent magnet is present. So to produce a constant magnetic field, and there is a rotor rotating part of the machine, and there is a armature slots to holding the armature conductor. For carrying the current, because we are giving power supply, it carries the current, experience a force, right? So next is the commutator. Commutator gives current to the armature conductor. Next is the brushes. Brushes gives current to the commutator. It is one-to-one connect, right? Brushes contact with the commutator. Commutator connected with the armature conductor. When current carries and it produces circular magnetic field, interaction between this magnetic field and this circular magnetic field in the conductor, what happens? It will be like a stretching of rubber. So it will be rotating. I mean, shaft will be rotating. That's all. We'll discuss working principle of DC motor. According to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, when current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field experience a force, or conductor experience a torque, right? I have given supply over here, DC supply. Current will flow through brushes. Here there is a commutator which converts DC to AC, because whatever the current is flowing inside the armature conductor, always AC. If it is generator or motor, when conductor carries a current, what happens? Produces circular magnetic field, right? Here there is a constant magnetic field is present. Interaction between this circular magnetic field and this constant magnetic field, what happens? This shaft experience a torque or experience a force. So it starts rotating. This is the brief principle of DC motor. I'll be redrawing this diagram to explain in detail. There is a magnetic field is present from north pole to south pole. Okay, these are the magnetic fields, flux line. And next diagram, magnetic field is present and also on the armature conductor is present. Okay, but I have not given a power supply to this conductor. Okay, next diagram, magnetic field is absent. Just you assume. Okay, and conductor carries a current. I'll be giving power supply to the conductor. Produces a circular magnetic field, right? This is a magnetic field. And final diagram, I'll be giving both magnetic field and power supply to the conductor. See here, this is a circular magnetic field. So magnetic field disturbance will occur like this, and here like this. So conductor moves high flux density to low flux density. It's like a stretching of rubber, right? Here there is an interaction between this magnetic field and this magnetic field. What happens? Conductor start rotating. according to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, right? And also dynamically induced EMF, the equation is F is equal to BIL sin theta, right? F is the force, B is the magnetic flux density, right? This flux density, and I is the conductor carries a current, right? That current, and L is the length of the conductor, okay? And sin theta is the angle of movement of the conductor in the specified path. See here, force depends upon magnetic field in the north pole to south pole, and current flowing through the conductor, and length of the conductor, and angle of movement of the conductor. Another one working principle, Fleming's left hand rule, right? So thumb and index finger and middle finger, right? So thumb shows motion of the conductor, R force, and this one magnetic field, and this middle finger shows induced current, right? This is the Fleming's left hand rule. Okay. We'll discuss DC motor back EMF and its significance. Before going to study back EMF, we must know how exactly EMF is generated in the generator, right? I just consider this diagram as a generator. We can consider motor also, because construction is same for motor as well as generator, only working and operation is different. I just connected one turbine over here because the generator needs mechanical input, right? This is a turbine coupled with shaft. If I rotate this turbine, what happens is this complete rotor will rotate, right? So when conductor present in the rotor and magnetic field is present in the stator, right? Magnetic field is present, right? So when conductor cuts the magnetic field, what happens? Induces EMF. That induced EMF is called as generated EMF. Equation as 5PNZ by 60A. Already we derived this equation in generator section. If I consider this one is a motor, I'll be giving power supply to the motor, that is DC supply plus minus. Okay. If suppose current is flowing through the armature conductor, what happens? So when conductor carries a current in the magnetic field, experience a force or torque will be produced. Motor start rotating. I mean motoring action will occur, right? So when motor start rotating, when conductor rotates in the magnetic field, what happens? Induces EMF. That induced EMF is called as back EMF in the motor. Same will get 5PNZ by 60A. Don't confuse, EG is the generated EMF, EB is the back EMF. EG will develop when conductor start rotating, and EB will develop if suppose conductor carries a current, experience a force, torque will be produced. So when start rotating, it induces EMF. That EMF is called as back EMF. This EB always opposes the supply voltage, right? This is the concept of back EMF. In detail, we'll understand back EMF. I'll draw internal circuit diagram of a DC motor. I just consider shunt motor, okay? And this one is your rotor. This one is your supply voltage, okay? Terminal voltage, plus minus. Inside the rotor, we have an armature conductor, that is RA, and whatever induced EMF, that is EB for your motor, okay? This is RSH, this one is IL, and this is IA, and this one is ISH, right? According to Lenz's law, EB always opposes the cause producing unit. Cause is here VT. We'll see how exactly. VT is the supply voltage. Due to VT, armature current will flow, right? So IA will flow through the armature conductor in the magnetic field. So what happens? It creates force or torque, right? If suppose motoring action occurs in the magnetic field, it cuts some of the flux lines. What happens? Induces EMF. That EMF is called as back EMF in the motor, right? So EB always opposes the supply voltage is called as back EMF. We'll see significance of back EMF. EB is equal to 5PNZ by 60A, right? We can write EB directly proportional to speed, right? I'll apply KVL to this loop, okay? V terminal voltage minus IARA minus EB is equal to 0. So VT is equal to EB plus IARA, right? So VT minus EB is the net voltage is equal to IA into RA, right? We'll see significance one by one. If suppose motor load increases, What about the speed? Speed will be decreases, right? For example, if you are driving a bike, maximum limit is 2 members. If you drive with 5 members, bike will not move, right? So speed decreases. What about the back EMF, EB? EB will reduce, right? EB is directly proportional to speed here. If suppose rotation is increases, conductor cuts the magnetic field also increases, EB also increases. So speed decreases, EB also decreases. What about the net voltage? VT minus EB, that is increases, right? So what about armature current? Armature current increases, and what about the torque? Torque also increases, right? We'll see how exactly net voltage, armature current, torque increases by decreasing the speed or back EMF, right? I'll be taking this as a equation. VT minus EB is equal to IA RE, right? So VT I'll be giving 220 and EB I'll be giving 200, okay? And IA as it is, RE I'll take 1, okay? 1 resistance, because that is constant, less than 3 or less than 1 we will get. So 1 I'll take for standard value. So IA is how much? 20, right? So if suppose EB decreases some value, 220 minus 100, IA is equal to how much? IA is equal to 120 amps. See here, EB decreases to 100 over here, armature current increases to 120 amps. So torque is directly proportional to IA for motor. So speed, current increases, torque also increases, right? And speed decreases, EB decreases, armature current increases, torque also increases. Next, second condition, if suppose load decreases, what about the speed? Speed will be increases, right? What about EB? If suppose rotation increases, what happens? EB also increases, right? What about VT minus EB? EB will decreases, right? And what about IA? IA will decreases, torque also decreases. Next, back EMF acts as a regulator for the machine by controlling the armature current to meet the load requirement automatically. So, regulator, okay? And without back EMF, motor will not rotate. If suppose back EMF suddenly fall down, motor winding will get damaged or burn out, right? Once again, we'll revise. Back EMF always opposes the supply voltage. If I give power supply to the motor, what happens? Current flowing through the armature conductor, experience a torque or force is produced. So shaft will be rotating. So when the conductor start rotating, what happens? It cuts number of flux lines. So that time induces EMF. That EMF is called as EB. Okay. So this EB always opposes supply voltage. Okay. If you consider motor, we'll get EG. Okay. And this is for your reference. Okay. EB depends upon speed, flux, and the number of conductors present in the this one motor. EB depends upon speed, flux, number of conductors, number of poles, and time taken also, right? So these are the. So you can say EB depends upon speed and flux, number of conductors, poles, right? So you can write these equations and then you can draw this diagram also for your reference.